So, good evening. It's Friday evening. I guess we've sort of all gathered here for a pitch stage, and some of us are investors, some are in the community. So, some of the Hong Kong people I know. But let's get started on the panel. As you saw the background, there's a diverse sort of mix today in the panelists. And we have one of the big fours, we have a law firm, we have a sort of a VC or / angel investor, and we have somebody from the community, in the consulting, and I think different hats. So I would briefly start with, again, the topic for today is new investments flowing into the markets of crypto and blockchain. And we've seen this space evolve over a couple of years. And Hong Kong also is a major sort of player in the ecosystem. So today's questions, I would just have one person question depending on the background. But let me get started. And in terms of each of you, and the question is, I think the introduction is done. So what is your journey into the digital asset space in blockchain, and something like related to your current background, and what are you doing prior?
Okay, take turns, all right. Yeah, well, I started mining Bitcoin in 2011, right? On my crummy white MacBook. At that time, I thought it was just for gaming. I was like 13, 14 years old. And I mined like a few hundred. But, unfortunately, it's worthless. I threw the hard drive away, I threw my Mac away, and in 2014, 2015, I saw Bitcoin going up to $1,000. I said to myself, I'll never go back to crypto, right? Because it's a lot of money for a youngster. And in 2016, 2017, I started looking at technology again. It's actually a lot since Mt. Gox, right? Magic, and Mt. Gox used to trade magic cards, right? It wasn't actually built for trading Bitcoin. So yeah, that's how I got into crypto, which is 2016, 2017.
And now you're the crypto expert in one of the Okay, thanks. Kristi?
Sure, so mine's a little bit different. I am a lawyer. There always has to be one, so I guess I'm the token one today. Mine, I think, is a journey from a little bit from, I'd say, geek to chic, because I'm a regulatory compliance lawyer by training and background. I've been in Hong Kong for 23 years. And I started out basically in the securities, corporate finance securities area, and around more or less the regulatory compliance space. And when that basically started about 8 years ago, taking shape into the fact when people are coming to say, I don't know what to do, I don't know when to be licensed. So mine basically started, I guess, about 8 years ago in the kind of regulatory compliance space is how it all journey started. Now, if you ask me whether or not I thought, oh wow, this is going to be the place to be, because I was just, oh, how it is that you ended up really in the hot spot? I had no idea. There was absolutely no clue. But like I said, if you can take the fact that when I used to say, oh, I'm a regulatory compliance lawyer, everyone rolled their eyes back in their head and said, oh, that's really fascinating, really amazing, that's fun. Now if I say, oh, I do Fintech, I say, oh, yeah, that's very exciting. Oh, how very exciting
that's
that
more
is.
cool as an introduction.
Absolutely,
I guess, right?
yeah. So I'll never go back to, I'm a regulatory compliance lawyer, so I'm Fintech.
Okay, great. Bowie?
So about cryptocurrency, I got in touch, I get back in 2015, 14-15, because of my husband. My husband is a banker by the day, technologist by the night. Weekend he's a philosopher that drives me nuts, but that's about him. But he's the person who started to do trading on cryptocurrency. And actually when he started to buy Ether, it was $8. So, but do you know how much he sold? Do you know how much? When he sold it, when the price. He sold it at $12. So according to a professional trader like him, 50% up, but it's a good deal. So he sold it after he sold it. Never gone back. So, but anyway, that's how it got my interested into cryptocurrency. And then we started to talk about what is blockchain, right? So blockchain is a term, I guess, there's a specific definition of blockchain. Oh, it's a decentralized, distributed, immutable ledger where you share in a group of people and trust is optional. This is a very boring, generic definition of blockchain. Then when I talk about it, I guess with my husband more about this technology, I realized actually blockchain is just like women, because we are all complicated. So how's that? For example, if you are, let's say you are dating your girlfriend, you have done something wrong to your girlfriend or even to your mother, your problem immediately distributed to a decentralized network where you have no control about it. And more importantly, it's permanently recorded and you cannot change it. So you cannot make sure you don't mistreat your girlfriend or mother or anything. So yeah, but I think blockchain though has very good potential opportunity. So and I started to do angel investment and subsequently joined a fund to be a partner of a decentralized blockchain fund. So that's how I started.
Thanks, Bowie. I particularly like that analogy of women and so interesting, guys. So be careful. Sam.
Hi, I'm Samson Lee. You can call me Sam. It's a great pleasure to be here and see all the old friends. We all know each other. So I'm founder and CEO of Constreet. Little apology of my voice. I only have half of the voice today. So I have been financing tech company for over 20 years, since the .com. If you remember the first listed internet company in Hong Kong, Tom.com, I was in the IPO team at the time. And then since then, I moved on to help Richard, PCCW, roll out the 3G business plan. I stay around the industry and then do different things, e-commerce, CDN, smartphone. Back then it's still called the PDA, if you still remember. And then the content, O2O, many things, right? In 2016, in a coincidence, I got introduced into the co-founder of Ethereum, Vitalik. So I helped him to set up the Shenzhen Ethereum community since then. And I only bought my first Bitcoin and Ethereum back then, so much later than Galen, and a much higher price. But I hold on to it. I didn't sell. I still have it. I bought a little bit only. And then in 2017, I teamed up with a traditional investment bank who have been in Hong Kong for 25 years of history. Some of you know BMI Group. They have done 80 IPO in Hong Kong. So we team up to set up Constreet. At the time, doing a lot of ICO. It's only ICO only, right? It's not security tokens does not exist yet. But now this year, as you know, in Hong Kong, the regulator already make official announcement that STO is legal, right? They have a big announcement at the end of March, and we can do it with a security type 1 license, which we have. So now we are very focused on advising STO issuing from Hong Kong jurisdiction. So you don't have to go to Malta or Mauritius or other smaller jurisdiction. You can literally do it in Hong Kong. And I'm sure our loyal friends have a lot of news to share later on. Thank you.
So thanks, Sam. So you heard different backgrounds but different stories, and probably I'll give a little bit about myself because as a panelist, you need to know what's my journey too. So in the introduction, I won't repeat that. So traditional investment banking for about 15 years in exchange. 2.5 years, 2017, I was working with the family office, and we were trying to do. I've written a white paper myself, so we didn't do any ICOs and stuff, but we were almost doing an STO kind of thing. So we didn't get regulatory comfort, so we didn't do that. But that's my journey into this space. And in fact, I was speaking at a conference last March. Yeah. In fact, Bowie's husband and I are good friends. So, and my topic was the crypto mining conference, why institutional investors are on the sideline. Then, in fact, that story started that we should, we're coming from professional backgrounds, why don't we do something together? So, Bowie, in fact, is a co-founder in another venture, which is Inspire Partners, which I'm also co-founder. So that's my journey. So we do investments, consulting, advisory, and community outreach makes by partners. So, so that rounds up the first question, depending on like our individual journeys into blockchain. So let me now go to so what do you hear from what's going on in the market, right? From ICOs to IEOs to STOs, right? So my question to the panelists is, where do you see the market now in 2019? And going forward, what's your view in terms of the different jargons, but again, the different structures? But yeah.
Alright, so I'll start first. So, So in my personal opinion, right, we're starting to see the resurgence of like fundraising. Right? So we've moved from ICOs, which is like a freewheeling operation, into like IEOs, initial exchange offerings, where crypto exchanges would select only the best quality projects, and they would, through their existing user base, who has mostly done KYC and raised capital. Now, in particular, I think Binance's decentralized exchange, Binance DEX, will be one of the major forces for crypto exchanges to come. I think centralized exchanges, definitely, it will still be here, but the decentralized nature where the user holds their own crypto funds will be the way forward. And we've started seeing Bowie look at the larger crypto exchanges releasing their own decentralized exchanges.
Perhaps in our space it's a little bit different. We leapfrogged, we participated in probably fewer than 20 ICOs, and that was by choice. But I think the ICO kind of process put a very good framework or foundation in place for what we're looking at now. That is for crypto exchanges, that's for regulatory compliance, regulations we think might be necessary to kind of have a very good ecosystem. And so I think what we're seeing is we've leapfrogged from the kind of enterprise or exchange, and we're really seeing people start preparing for the security token. We've got quite a few people looking at security tokens now. And as they say, it's basically a marathon, it's not a sprint. So everyone's trying to get the players in place. And I can't remember who said earlier, I think it was you, Galen, that said, you know, some of the parties or some of the people that you need in the process are not quite there yet, like custodial or trustees to do security token offerings. They're not really in position yet. We don't have anybody really in Asia that's particularly, I think, founded. We've got someone that's we're doing a big project with, and they went and said, oh, we're going to use XYZ trustee, and I said, okay, well, can you get the trust document, and then we'll basically comment on that. And then they came back and said, oh, they don't have one. I said, they're supposed to be a trust company. So I think the fact is that it's evolving, and so that's part of the process. I guess the excitement for what I do every day is that we don't do a lot of cookie cutter type work. We get to work on really new projects and really exciting things on a daily basis. So I think the space is, for us, definitely moving in the security token way.
So for ICO, right, there have been many bad apples that kind of specifically designed to steal your money. That definitely is almost over. Not 100%, I'm sure there's still some scam projects, which I think a lot of investors have been burned their hands, so they understand, they can become more sophisticated, more knowledgeable to judge a project, whether does it make sense to use blockchain, does it make sense to really use that utility token for the platform, whether it makes sense to have the product and services. Yes, that's done. But on top of that, now we have IEO, which is initial exchange offering. People feel more comfortable having IEO to handle all the KYC and AML. I think they have become more professional handling that specific process. For project-wise, you pay, I think, a fair, reasonable amount of fee. They will take care of this part for you. And when they realize or find out the project actually has some, I guess, security element in that, the exchanges have a good process to release the token if they find out the token actually has some relationship to security. I think that is good as well. And now we definitely see a lot more, everybody's talking about security token offering, so this is the direction. It just takes more time to develop. Yeah.
Well, I think you're going to see development in 3 different areas. First of all, it's the fundraising. Right? The fundraising will still be going on, no matter it is a utility token or security tokens or something else. They may come up with some new names.
What kind of projects are you seeing out of Hong Kong, and what is your view on the regulatory landscape evolving in Hong Kong compared to some of the other emerging jurisdictions we've seen, like Malta? I don't want to pick on one, but yeah, so what's kind of your view on that, and what are you seeing?
But let's pick on Malta, why not? No, let me answer the second question first. In fact, I think Hong Kong was left fairly unscathed from the ICO phase, let's put it that way. I think that's probably true because of the following. I think that we didn't deem it to be something it wasn't, so lots of countries basically deemed crypto to be a security, which I think was a pretty bad thing to do. Because number one, did it not just stop the economy or stop that space? It takes a lot to get people back in the space, and it takes a lot of effort to get people back thinking that the country is going to not basically revert and do the same thing again. So we all know of the usual suspects in Asia that basically said, oh, deeming factor, not going to allow it. People basically, some of them haven't opened back up, some of them have opened back up, but I think it's a really slow uptake when you do that, because people are quite concerned to put their assets and quite a lot of infrastructure in a jurisdiction which may turn on you and say, overnight poof, we are going to deem you to be something else. So I think Hong Kong, the regulators, some people say, oh, they're terribly slow, they were bad about the uptake, but I think what it did do is it basically left us in a very good position. Just quickly moving on to the type of projects we're seeing or we're hoping to see. We're seeing a lot of stablecoin, like I said, security token. We're seeing a lot of, how should we say, types of projects that allow a securitization to the extent that it allows the big ticket things that would normally be ready for institutional investors. People are coming down to be doing crowdfunding at a professional investor level to be able to go in and say, let's buy blocks of KKR funds, etc. So we're seeing really big projects coming down, being coin-based, blockchain-based, and looking to basically be able to come in at smaller ticket prices. I think the last thing is we still see crypto exchanges being a very important part, especially in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong has been fairly kind, I feel, to crypto. And we still see people coming into the jurisdiction and trying to use Hong Kong, because I think there has been quite a bit of clarity in the regulations, as well as some pretty good guidelines issued by the SFC.
Great, Kristi. I think comprehensive answer. Next, can I move to Bowie? Okay. So, Bowie, question is specific to your background. So, wearing different hats, right? From starting as an angel investor, now being one of the affiliate partners of an institutional blockchain fund. What has your overall experience been as an investor in this space?
Right, so being an angel is about, I guess, helping the startups along. You truly believe in the project, not just financially supporting them. You also give them a lot of advice, but it's also very time consuming. So, and that's why I became a partner of a fund called Global Ventures. It's a decentralized blockchain equity fund. We focus on late stage blockchain companies, more or less Series A and Series B. And the specialty of this is that there are 80 partners across 30 cities globally. So imagine we have, each of us, we have a different experience and expertise, and there are 4 specific verticals we only choose. One is financial services, second is infrastructure, third is gaming / entertainment, lastly is AI and data analytics. Each of us would choose one, and imagine, because we're all in, I guess, in the blockchain space, we only need to select the one best deal per year, per city, and we are pretty much, all done to deploy the fund. So to me, it's a fast learning journey plus deal sourcing part. I don't see any other business model to compete with this. So yeah.
Great. In fact, I like the decentralized fund aspect, right? So each of the partners brings different expertise. So, and we're talking about the whole blockchain decentralized space. So perfect sort of combination, right? Next, can I go to Galen? Okay, so maybe I chose you third, right? So you're next to me. So being part of one of the big four, right? Active into the crypto space. So what are the key challenges and risks you still see in the crypto ecosystem from a big four perspective? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's one event that will have a significant impact in the crypto ecosystem. And this is something that, we're not very worried, but this is something that a lot of people do not understand the severity. And basically it's this organization called FATF, right? Financial Action Task Force. And they're a G20 working group, and nearly all of the global financial regulations and rules are set by them. And they're coming out with a new regulation or clarity or guideline on crypto exchanges as well as cryptocurrencies. And this is, I think, something, and they're discussing in Paris next week. Now, I think it will have a huge disruption on the crypto ecosystem, simply because not every single exchanges are compliant with the rules that we'll be putting out, which is I think 7B. And basically what it means that when you send a cryptocurrency from a crypto exchange to another exchange, you have to say, okay, this is where it came from, right? And you have to tag, okay, are you American, and and all these things. And the key challenge of these regulation is that because not every single crypto exchange will be able to implement these procedures, a lot of them will go extinct. So this is one of the key challenges that we're facing with our clients right now, and making sure that we're compliant with all of these regulations.
Great, thanks for that. Sam, this question to you is you happen to work with local projects and global projects coming to Asia. So where do you see the role of Hong Kong, particularly in the ecosystem, from your perspective as Coin Street partners or BMI?
Well, Hong Kong is always in a very unique position. I would say for both now, utility tokens and security tokens, right? First of all, we all know utility tokens are banned in China, right? But we are seeing more and more good Chinese project is actually trying to structure in Hong Kong to do the projects. And we also know a lot of the smart money from China is already in Hong Kong. So there are ways to get into those legal offshore kind of capital in Hong Kong. And for STO, on the other hand, it is securities. And we all know Hong Kong being financial markets, especially last year. I'm sure many of you know, Hong Kong is actually the #1 IPO place in the world, right? Last year, Hong Kong raised $36 billion, US dollar, big US as well, right? So being the world #1 IPO place, if securities is really the right path to go, which seems like to be, because we look at our big brothers, US, they are skeptical about ICO, but for STO, they're actually leading the way, right? SEC is so forefront and have very clear guidelines, have the most STO exchange in US, and all these investment banks are running so fast. So if STO is the right path, I think being in such a good position of an IPO traditional capital market, there should be a very good position Hong Kong can play on the whole global STO market.
Great. So we just saw from an individual background perspective, individual questions, and it's good to hear from the big four, a law firm, an investor, and sort of community person, right? My next question, again, is this is an investor event. So my question is, where do you see the investor interest and the institutional capital flowing into the blockchain space currently and in the coming couple of years?
All right, so basically as a personal investor, I'm also at Big Four too. I'm starting to see a lot of big institutional investors to be quite clever compared to 2017. Actually, in 2017, when we saw people buying Bitcoin and they were buying alts, right, alternative tokens. We saw this huge alt run in late 2017. But this time was very different. This time we've seen a lot of institutional players, a lot of hedge funds, family office investing into Bitcoin, and they're just parking into Bitcoin. And that's why if you've seen where Bitcoin is right now, went from $3,200 in Jan or February to 9,600 US a few hours ago. But if you look at the corresponding price increase of Bitcoin versus Ethereum hasn't actually moved much. So I've seen a lot of institutional players going into major currencies for now. Now whether they move into the alternative tokens is still to be unknown. But I do believe that they will invest into utility tokens that might drive value within the ecosystem.
Great.
I'll agree with that, but I think the only thing I would add is that, when we look at it and we get there's institutional investors and there's institutional investors, and I would actually suggest the institutional investors we talk to, we see asset managers, they're incredibly shy and or not particularly too bullish yet. They say they're still looking at it. So I'm not too certain that they may eventually not get there. We do have some of the really big banks coming to us and say, well, if we wanted to do some sort of crypto and we wanted to do at least just one, what would it look like and how would we do it? So I think they're starting to do it, but I don't think it's because they want to do it. I think it's actually peer pressure because they know if they don't do it that someone else will. And I don't think from my perspective that I have too many people running in the institutional side of it quickly towards crypto.
I think there are three areas that will drive more interest. Number one is the stablecoin. Now, in February, JP Morgan already have JP Morgan Coin. This week, we just have Libra from Facebook. So definitely, there's one direction. Second is the STO, obviously, because it's still it takes time for adoption, but there will be many more platforms to digitalize your, digital asset. And one more thing is that real estate. So I guess this is another big area, especially in Hong Kong. Lots of family offices, mainly focus, their main portfolio are all properties. And liquidity is an issue. So once they have more adoption into the tokenization of the either real estate or shares, then there will be more liquidity coming forward.
Great.
I think we'll see a lot of funds coming in from the alternative assets. And when we talk about STO, there's actually STO, security tokens, and digitized securities. They're slightly different, but also quite a big difference, right? So obviously, security tokens anchor on the tokens, right? It only happened because some ICO tokens before they have carried the security features and then it being classified, oh, this is not utility, it's security tokens. But for the digitized securities, it's traditional securities, like alternative asset investment, and they just now being done, wrapped around by the blockchain technology, some technology wrapped around it, and it's very easy actually to move money across and the funds into those areas. In the recent, like just this week, I think we have, some of you might have picked up the news, one of the largest retail shop investor in Hong Kong, Apostle, right? If you remember Tan Seng Po, he already announced his family office is going to tokenize all his portfolio, $50 billion, right? We have seen sovereignty fund from Dubai, out of Dubai, already make an announcement. They are going to invest $100 million into an STO, right? And this STO is a pre-IPO company in UK. And we do see actually a big movement coming in, although we haven't seen a lot of STO exchange. So the hypes are not there yet, but the professional investor, they are coming in, and they're different kind of investor because it's chicken and egg, right? When you talk about ICO, people buy an ICO, the first question they ask is, when are you going to list, right? But those investors are speculative, right? They buy, the first moment is trying to think about when they can sell on the exchange. For the professional investor, a lot of them they buy, they ask you, what's the yield? What are you going to pay me if I hold a token for 12 months? right? Is it 10% yield, 20% yield? What's the upside? They have a different mentality. To them, it's okay. They invest in VC fund, they got locked up for 7 years. If they invest in the STO, it's okay. They hold for 2-3 years, right? So they don't as much concern if the STO is so now many file from the US, for example, for professional investor, the regulation require the investor to hold the tokens for 1 year, which is not very long, to be honest, for professional investors. So I think there will be a lot of funds coming in. If you think about tokenizing US state, one project could be equal to maybe 20 ICO projects. Like that's the kind of magnitude we are looking at.
So basically, the storyline is like real assets tokenization is on the way, and real estate is the first use case, and we will see like the reverse ICO.
Tokenized bonds, I think, will be
that's all happening.
Yeah.
And the other part is the infrastructure is getting built. We saw in the presentation also the custody side. We've got institutional players. So in that sense, I will have to round it up with the last question, and this is basically what is and I would just request you for a short answer, 30-second answer. What is your one-line final message to the audience this evening on the future of investing in this space, digital assets and blockchain? Just a 30-second final answer.
One-liner, buy Bitcoin.
You're still holding your ether, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mine is it's here to stay. A lot of people ask me when some of my partners, of course, a bit elderly, said, this Bitcoin thing is really silly. When is it going to go away? So I guess it would be it's here to stay. It's not if, it's when.
My advice is never stop learning. Knowledge is free. Once you have the knowledge, you can change it to skill set, and skill set will turn something valuable to you. So never stop learning, but also realize the fact that the technology space is risky. If you are thinking into investment, do prepare mentally that you are afford to be able to lose what you're going to invest first. So that's my advice.
Well, my advice will be to invest in something you understand and stay away from something that sounds too good to be true.
Great. I think that's a wrapper, and I would like to thank all the panelists. I hope you got some good perspectives from different backgrounds, and I will not keep you holding. We've got some pitches left, so back to you. Thank you. Thank you very much.